Hello, hi, welcome to Adulting with Novia. Thank you for joining me today as I am preparing for week 45. So, today we're going to be working in my main bay, my A5 Stalogy, and I've printed off a couple of pictures just in case. I don't know, like last week I did my layout and it was very, very minimal. And this is the time of year where all of my layouts get pretty simple. Like I don't really have time for all the fuss of stickers and washi and all that jazz. I just need to get my plans down on paper and just be done. And so that's why it's pretty much a minimal setup. So here I'm showing how like I laid down all my little sticky notes I made, my monthly sticky notes where I marked the week down and I just cut them out all at once last week and laid them out and just highlighted the week of which that spread represents. And yeah, I just showed you guys a little bit of the photos that I picked. They were free. They're from a site called Unsplash. They're royalty free. You can use them as you wish. And I just went there and typed in fall cozy because that's kind of the vibe I want to go with this month and pick some photos and printed them out. So right now I'm just gonna use my Lauren Phelps Designs writing board. That's what that is in my hand, that little plastic thing. And it is A5 size. And I actually, if you notice, I use this in every single one of my spreads when it comes to creating my layouts and writing straight lines as possible. It also has this little tab feature on the side. Like if you look to the left, you see the little rectangles. That's to help with tab placement in your planner, notebook, whatever you're using. And I think that's really clever. And on the other side, there's a ruler. It's in metric. So if you're familiar with metric, then that's great. If you're not, like most Americans, it's, I mean, unless you want to become familiar with metric, it's kind of useless, but it's a nice feature to have. So here I am counting out all my squares here so I can get my spacing right so I can make a weekly overview. The layout that I'm doing this week is a slight variation on what I did last week. Last week, actually, in last week's video, yeah, my November setup video, I did the monthly and the weekly. And in the weekly, you could see like it was basically like one side it had a like a weekly task list, like an overall task list, a little focus task list, an overall like weekly overview, and then the next page was just for dailies. This week, I felt that I want to try and do something a little different because I have been listening to a lot more music lately because I just got like new headphones, hence the voiceover happening. And I've been listening to like older music from when I was like in high school. I don't know why. I think it's because my daughter brought up wanting, like, she came to me and she asked me, she's like, Mom, have you ever heard of a band that sings this song and it has a girl and like she's singing and she's singing really hard? And I'm just like, what are you what are you talking about? And she says the lyric of the hook is I can feel you all around me, and I'm like, oh, you mean Flyleaf? And she goes, you know who that is? And I was just like, yeah, I used to listen to them in high school slash maybe early college days. No, it was high school. I'm pretty sure it was high school. And I'm just like, I used to listen to them in high school. And she's like, what? And I'm like, contrary to popular what you may believe, like I was I was hip, I was cool, I was in with it. So that started me on like this search on my Apple Music app or whatever, looking for albums I haven't listened to in forever. So I just, so now I actually want to add like a couple of, I guess, oh my God, a couple of journaling aspects to it. So I want to mark down basically what album I decided to listen to that week. And I don't know, I guess kind of reminisce and like just reminisce of all the memories and the emotions past albums have a tendency to, evoke in me. So yeah, I wanted to add that, and I actually wanted to add a little section for the books that I've read that week, because I don't know if you noticed, but I read a lot of books. So I wanted to make sure that whatever I download that week, I can check it off if I've actually read it that week or not. Because I think I've downloaded like 4 books already, and I'm on the second one now. So I want to note when I finish them or not. But yeah, so you can tell like right now if you saw last week's setup video that this week's layout is a little different. It's still simple. It's still minimal. There's not a lot of, not a lot of fuss. It's just me, a pencil, and a pen and a Tombow. Like it's really nothing fancy. I'm not in the mood for, you know, all the other extra planner girl stuff this month. So underneath my monthly overview, you'll see my weekly overview there. And I'm like looking at it now, like I kind of wish that I just drew it out with the fine tip side of the Tombow instead of the pen, because it just looks so harsh compared to everything else. But you know what? It is what it is. As long as it's functional, I'm gonna Elsa that mess and let it go. And then right here, I am trying to block out my days of the week. And for some reason, I thought I could not count. Like, I'm like, that, that's like the one that I just did at the top. I'm like, oh, that's going to be Sunday. And then I realized, like, wait a second. that's, that's an extra day. I'm like trying to make the week last longer. Like, please don't, Novia. What are you doing with your life? But yeah, so I'm marking out where my days of the week are. See, that's me counting because I'm not I'm not sure. Like, so now I made an extra space when I didn't want an extra space, but I just said I'm just gonna keep going and I'll figure it out in a minute. And writing out my days of the week, like my Monday will always be probably like the day that I need the most space, just for the simple fact that that's my day off, and I have a tendency to what would I call it? Front load. I front load my weeks because I work um at minimum 12, sometimes even 14-hour shifts at work, and it's the back end of the week. So the front end of the week is where I load all of our appointments, all of our major errands, like all of our major like things usually happen during the beginning of the week, because towards the end of the week I'm working all these hours and I'm not going to have time for all these extra appointments and such. So that's why Monday is a way bigger space than pretty much, and why the end of the week is they sort of have smaller spaces, because most of those days like I'm just going to be working, and my first day off is typically a recovery day. So I don't plan doing anything that day at all except recover. So here I figured I will use one of the pictures that I printed out to cover up me trying to make this week last longer than it should. Yeah, see, double checking my counting because I can't count. So I'm going to use this cute little fall picture here. I think this is the one with the cocoa, and it just looks so delicious, and the scene looks so like fuzzy and warm and just quintessential fall. Am I right? Like nothing like a hot drink, a nice blanket on on a slightly chilly day. It just, I don't know, it makes you feel all, cozy. And then here I decided to try and zhuzh it up with a little washi, not a whole bunch, just like a couple strips, because I bought this washi this year. And I've just decided, like I decided a long time ago, if I'm buying a stationery supply or a craft supply or an art supply, whatever, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to just let it sit there and take up space in my life. Like, why would I do that? So I bought this and it came with like 20 something rolls, and I am determined to use it. Like, why would I want to sit here with like 8 million rolls of washi? Like, I'm gonna use it for things that it's probably not even made for. Like, ran out of staples. I'm gonna put these pieces of paper together with some washi. Like, need a band-aid because you can't find one real quick. I'm about to use some washi and some toilet paper. Like, I'm MacGyvering the crap out of this washi just so it's not sitting there and taking up space in my life, because I've learned my lesson. Like, I still have like I've had washi that has not been used in so long, like it's just stuck together and it's useless. I don't know why I still have this washi. I just do. I haven't gotten around to trashing it yet. But also at the same time, I feel bad trashing it because I spent money on it. But I know I need to let it go. I just have to wait until I'm in the right frame of mind to actually, get the courage to throw it away, I guess. I don't know. But I've digressed. So here I am filling out my most important to-dos, my high level events, so appointments. And this week there's a lot of car appointments because I need to get the heat in my car fixed, because for some oddball reason, the heat is only coming out of the passenger side and not the driver's side. And I feel like that's unfair because nobody sits there. I mean, if my purse wants to be warm, that's great, but it's an inanimate object and I'm freezing. So I got to get that fixed this week. And I have some doctor's appointments and some important bills I need to remember. And that's pretty much what goes in that section. I'm not going to fill out what the music is I'm listening to for the week because the week's not over. So I don't know exactly what is going to stick out to me the most. Last week, I listened to Flyleaf with my daughter. But mostly last week I was into the Beyonce Renaissance album, like especially while I was at work. And then here on Monday, I'm just gonna use the Tombow here to make little dots. I don't have those like zig dot markers. They look pretty cool, but I'm like on the fence about whether or not I want to invest in buying more markers that are, something that I can only use for particularly that thing. Like it's dots, or I can write like normal when I already have the Tombows. Like I have Tombows, I have Prismacolors, I have Ohuhus, and Prismacolors and Ohuhus are basically alcohol based markers. I can't use them on my planners anyway, but it's kind of like they're one use things. So for right now, I'm just using the Tombows to, make my little dots for my little to-dos. And when I complete them, I typically just check them off. Like sometimes I think that I feel like, oh, I should have a key. And then I realize I really shouldn't, because my key would be like three things. Like check mark if it's done, a little right facing arrow if I migrated it, uh, like an X maybe if it's canceled, but actually, no, and like I use X in the event that if I finish a task too, and then if I cross something out, it was just canceled. Like I don't know, like that would be my key. Why waste my time on that? I'm not a big bullet journal signifier type person. I'm old school. If it's done, check it off. It's done. That's it. I don't need a whole bunch of, I don't need a whole like map key to figure out how to translate my plans. I overthink stuff enough as it is. I don't need help. And then here I'm just listing out more to dos. Like I also, on Monday, we're also making our annual shopping trip to pick out our annual Christmas ornament. and it's always a bird. Like it's something my daughter started. It's every single time it's a bird, and I don't understand why. So we get to find a different bird this every single year, a different bird ornament. Last year she picked an owl with like the creepiest eyes. It looks like it's staring into your soul as it's on the Christmas tree. It's so creepy. I tried to face it toward the back of like towards the wall and hope she didn't notice. So this year's ornament picking should be interesting. And then, oh, we also have house viewings because, like, as I've been saying, I'm in the process of trying to buy a house, and that's an experience. This is an experience I don't think I ever want to experience again, but I know I probably will. But Lord, I don't, I don't know how realtors do it because it's stressful. So yeah, Monday we get to view two houses, so that's great. On the side here, after my dailies, I have a to buy section, and then I have the section that I mentioned before for my books. And I'm writing down two of the books that I have read. Well, one I've completely read, and one I'm in the process of reading. And then I'll write down the other two I downloaded this week. Like, was it yesterday? Yeah, before I even filmed this, I'll write down the other two books that I downloaded this week. But yeah, that's my weekly lab. Like that's it. It's very simple, to the point, gets things done, and it is slightly different than last week's. I actually think I like this one more because I have a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to the daily spacing. See, like I think I like this one better. All right. Thank you for joining me. Until next time. Bye.